There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get started. You guys know I'm not a fan of taking too much of y'all's time. I like to be prompt. My name is Amber Livesey. I am one half of the Slim Sisters team that you guys are all a part of. I say this at the beginning of every call in case anyone is new to our team. First of all, let me welcome you. We are so glad to have you on our team. You have joined a very family-oriented team. We have a great team culture. I was actually just talking with my friend Amy Triplett about that yesterday, and how this team, our Slim Sisters team, we seriously have such a great team culture, and that is because of so many wonderful, wonderful people on this team. My sister Jana Hooten is the other half of Slim Sisters. She is also a Diamond Ambassador. You have also joined a successful team. We strive for success, we set goals, and we try to reach those goals. We try to hit them. I'm looking at so many beautiful faces staring back at me, and I love that. It makes these calls. Well, hey, Jessica Stanley. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not Stanley anymore. Anyways, looking at so many beautiful faces staring back at me. We love that. It makes these calls, when you're the one speaking, it makes it so much more enjoyable to see actual faces rather than blank squares with names. So if you can, turn your video on down in the bottom left corner. Just hit that video camera. But if at any time you need to turn that off, that's how you do that. Just click that again. Just remember, you can see us and we can see you. And sometimes we've seen some really funny things on these Zoom calls, and it's highly entertaining. So thank you for that. I want to just go over just a couple quick things real quick That was smooth. By the way, does anybody else ever brush their teeth and put perfume on before Zoom calls, or is it just me? I do it all. I'm spraying it on tonight. I'm like, why am I doing this? It doesn't matter what I smell like right now. Anyway, I have this cute little top on and green plaid pajama pants on bottom. So anyway, let me just address a couple quick things real fast while we're waiting for a few more people to hop on here. Who's excited about convention? Oh my gosh, I'm excited to see all of you. I'm excited to hug your necks. I'm excited to learn. I don't think, and Rachel, you can speak to this too, I don't think I've been this excited about who we have coming to convention before. The speakers, Les Brown, if you guys have heard him before, Carrie Wilkerson, I mean, they're just awesome. I want to encourage y'all, when you're there, be all in. Put this thing away and be all in. If you're typing on your phone, if you're constantly doing Facebook Lives for your team, you're going to miss out. Be all in, be in the moment, and soak it all in. On that same note, don't miss the sessions. You're there, you've paid to be there. Just don't miss the sessions. The one that you missed will sure enough be the one that you needed the most. So be all in, be there. I get asked this question the most about convention, before convention. It's always, what do we wear? Let me start off by saying business casual, and whatever that looks like to you. And then let me finish by saying, don't worry about it. In years past, I've worried so much about what I'm wearing, about all of that. I don't care this year. I'll just be really blunt with you. I mean, I'm not going to come, in my bathing suit. You guys might all leave, but I just be there. You're there to learn. It's not a fashion contest. Just be there, be comfortable, and be ready to soak it all in. After convention on June the 5th, I believe, we are having a Slim Sisters recap call. Some of you that are going to be at convention, I might ask you to share a little bit on that call. Dun, dun, dun. All right. But it's just going to be a recap call for those who couldn't go, and for all of us who were there. I promise you, during that recap call, you will hear someone else say something that you didn't hear when you were at convention. So make sure you're a part of that. The last thing I want to throw at you, I posted it on Slim Sisters today, on September the 30th. I know that seems like a long ways away, but it'll be here before we know it. Here in the Dallas area, we are doing a 5K for Allie's Gym, Legacy 22. You can register to do it here in Dallas, or you can register and do a virtual run. And Terry Paxson, I don't think that means you just virtually run. I think you actually run somewhere else. Terry's like, virtual running is my favorite kind. But it's a great way to get involved. It's a great cause to support. For those of you that are perhaps new to our team, my sister, as I mentioned earlier, Jana Hooten, she's a mother of 3 wonderful girls. Her 2 youngest were in an ATV accident in January, and her middle, Allie Michelle, passed away on January 7th. And Jan and Steve have committed to building a gym at her school in her honor. And that's what this is for, to help raise money for that. So register for that. I want to see so many Plexus people doing this. It's a 5K, y'all. It's fitness. We talk about being fit. We talk about exercise. Let's do this and let's show up for Jana and Steve and Allie's legacy, okay? Y'all, I am pumped about our call tonight. I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to grab a pen and paper. I want to remind you this call is being recorded, so please don't stress if you can't, wait, how do you say the big word? If you can't write that out quick enough, don't stress. You're going to be able to go back and rewatch it, write your notes down, okay? When we were at the big reveal, Rachael Neagle was talking with me and Jana, and she said, if you guys want me to do a call on for your team about the new Slim and the science behind it, and I'm sitting here going, thank you, Lord, because I'm thinking, how am I going to explain this to anybody, okay? I want to tell you one last thing before I introduce Rachael. Rachael is going to be able to tell you the ins and outs of the new Slim. She could tell you the ins and outs of the old Slim and of all of our products, and she's a diamond ambassador, okay? Put a pin in that, and then focus on the fact I cannot do any of those things, and I am a diamond ambassador. I can tell you how our products work. I can tell you stories behind them, and I'm a diamond ambassador. So let that be of an encouragement to you, that if you are not able to absorb all of the information, that's okay. It is not necessary for you to know every single detail behind all of our products for you to move forward in this business. Rachael Neagle is a good friend of mine. I am blessed by her. I call her a hormone expert. She has a fancier title, but I just call her a hormone expert because in my eyes, that's what she is. I send her messages every now and again. She's thinking like, yeah, you do. Good grief. Mainly about thyroid questions because I have thyroid issues. She has thyroid issues, and she has pointed me time and time again in the right direction. She's done a call for our team before, and I'm privileged to have her back again. I want to say a quick word of prayer before we get started, and I've asked my friend Taryn Hayes to lead us in an opening word of prayer over Rachael and her time, and then when she's done, Rachael, you take it away.
Dear God, thank you so much for this night, and thank you for giving us just the opportunity to get on here and be together. Like Amber said, we're a close team and we love each other, and so I just thank you for the opportunity for us to at least see each other tonight. And I just pray that you would bless Rachael as she's talking to us, that you would help us to understand what it is that she's talking about for those of us who are not good with the science stuff. And I just pray that you would help her communicate clearly to us, and that we would get so much out of this, and that we would enjoy our time together and enjoy our time learning more about Plexus and also more about you. We love you, God. Amen.
Sorry, I couldn't get it to unmute. Well, I'm really excited to be with you guys tonight. Geeking out on science stuff is one of my favorite things, but I'll try not to go too nerdy green on you. So the new Slim, obviously you're probably getting hit up with lots of questions from people that, well, how is it different? What makes it different? How is it going to work differently in the body? What's going to make it work better than the old Slim did? So let's dig into some of that right away. So the major changes to the Slim are that first, it has only one sweetener now. Old Slim was sweetened with stevia and lohan, or monk fruit. Is what that goes by another name. Now it is just stevia, and it's actually less stevia than before. So if you had people that did not enjoy the flavor of it, that felt that it was too sweet, they're going to be excited to try the new stuff. It has a much, I think it has a much milder flavor. We know that they also have changed up. Used to it was like a combination of blueberry and pomegranate, and now it is watermelon, raspberry, and lemon. You may have people say, oh, I can't do that then because I have a melon allergy, or I'm allergic to this or that. Make sure that you communicate to those people that in the lab, they take that down to the enzyme level. And so what typically would trigger an allergy has been removed. And so I think that we're going to find that people that would normally react to like eating a piece of watermelon, like my son does, are able to drink this just fine and not have an allergic reaction. The other major change to it was the addition of the prebiotic fiber, and that is xylo-oleogosaccharides. I can't even say it. It's a ridiculously long word. So we're just going to call it XOS from this point forward in the call tonight. XOS is a prebiotic fiber. A lot of other companies incorporate prebiotic fibers into their products. However, typically those products there's one that's called inulin that's derived from chicory root. And then there's two other ones, and they are FOS and GOS. Those are also derived from the inulin as well. What I want to point out to you, the reason why I'm telling you that is that one of the key differences in XOS versus other prebiotic fibers that are on the market is that it is an intelligent prebiotic. So kind of, as Amber said, put a pin in that, hold on to that as we go through tonight's call. Remember, it's an intelligent prebiotic fiber. So whereas typically in the past, if somebody was using prebiotics, it would be like if you walked out to your yard or to your vegetable garden or your flower bed, and you've got good flowers or good vegetables, plants coming up, and you've got a bunch of weeds in there too. Other prebiotic fibers would be like putting Miracle-Gro on all of that stuff. So yes, the good plants are getting fed, but the bad guys are getting fed too. And we don't want that. So XOS, in its intelligent design, only works to feed the good bacteria that is in your body. And it feeds them so efficiently that they grow at a very rapid pace. Now, we know from some of the statistics that they told us at the big reveal that lactobacillus, which is a very beneficial bacteria that's in your gut, was increased by 350 times. The bifidobacterium also was increased by, I think, over 200 times. Now, I want to point out a difference here between times and percentage, okay? 350 times is a 35,000% increase. So we are talking about a massive, massive increase in these bacteria. And of course, the one that we are all so excited about is the 250 times or 25,000% increase in Akkermansia. Akkermansia is a good microbe, and it is found in large numbers in the microbiome or the gut bacteria of typically people who are very lean. So they know that it has a role in terms of weight loss, and especially helping to activate people who have a disrupted metabolism. Amber mentioned before that I am a thyroid patient myself. And one of the things about people with thyroid disease is that at its root, it is a metabolic disorder. The second that your thyroid starts to go down, it's like putting the brakes on your metabolism. Sometimes like coming to a screeching halt. I'm sorry, I have children and it's bedtime and there's some crying going on. I apologize. Okay. No judging. My husband's on dad duty. So anyway, I would say that for somebody like me, because I know that I have a disrupted metabolism because of thyroid issues, I know that I have a broken metabolism. Think of people who have, done crazy calorically restricted diets where they've limited themselves to 500 calories a day. And then as soon as they go back to their normal way of eating, what happens? They gain all the weight back. It's because they've messed up their metabolism. So you're going to find lower amounts of Akkermansia in individuals like that. So our goal with the new Slim is, if we know that we have people who have a struggling metabolism, it's slow, it's broken, it's disrupted, it is going to help to raise that level of metabolism. Now, here comes the next question. What about people who don't need to lose weight? Is this going to cause them to lose weight because of the acrobancia? No, it will not. Because remember that the beauty of Plexus is that we know that it goes after, it's one of the only products on the market that will only go after fat. It will not burn muscle. It doesn't use burning up muscle to make you lose weight. It actually helps to get rid of excess fat. And one of the ways that it does that is because of the Garcinia cambogia in it. Garcinia actually, and this gets way nerdy, I'm going to just try to make this as easy to understand as possible. Basically, once it finds a place on your cells, it activates your body's ability to burn fat. So that's one of the reasons, that we've seen people who either, didn't need to lose weight at all go on slim and they don't lose weight, or sometimes with people who need to gain weight, it actually has helped them to put on extra weight. So, but you couldn't just take this XOS and add it to any other product and get the same results that you would by adding it to Slim. And this is the reason that we were able to put a patent on it, is because it's actually the combination of the polyphenols that are in Slim. The polyphenols come from the green tea extract that's in Slim, the antioxidants, the alpha lipoic acid. When you combine the XOS with those polyphenols, that's where the magic happens. That's the reason that we were able to apply for a patent on this product. It is exclusive to our company. It cannot be found anywhere else. And like I said, that is where the magic happens. So one of the other things that happened when they did the in vitro trials on the Slim is that they found out that levels of butyrate and propionate went up. I didn't even know what those things were before, but I have several friends who suffer from conditions like Crohn's disease, IBS, and ulcerative colitis. And any GI doctor will tell you that when you suffer from conditions like that, you've got to work really hard to get your level of butyrate up in your gut because it decreases inflammation. So if you know somebody who has IBS, or if you know somebody that's got some kind of digestive, health issues, ask them, has your doctor ever talked to you about your butyrate levels? And if they say, yeah, I'm trying to get them up, talk to them about this product, because seeing a 60% increase in butyrate is huge. The other thing that is really, remember, I keep directing you back to that intelligent prebiotic, is one of the things about XOS that it does is it allows the gut bacteria to communicate with one another, and then it allows those gut bacteria to communicate with the rest of the body. So it's able to send messages to our immune cells to keep out toxins and to keep out allergens. So it's going to help with overall building up of the immune system. Another thing about, our gut is that there are a lot of our vitamins that are made in our gut, like our folate, our vitamin K. Those are made in your gut. Also, most of your neurotransmitters are made in your gut. Your GABA, your serotonin, and your dopamine. So the best way to see an increase in those is to improve the population of your gut bacteria, and to do that by feeding them, by putting Miracle-Gro on them. And so that's just a couple of the things that the actual changes that were made to it, that's some of the benefits that it yields. It now has 5 calories in it. It has 2 grams of carbohydrates. And y'all, I have gotten so many questions about this carb thing, because so many people are on low carb diets today and they're afraid it's going to mess up their low carb diet. It's 2 grams of carbs, and the carbohydrates come from dietary fiber, not from sugars. So it is not going to have any kind of ill effect on somebody who, eats a very low carb diet, or maybe like a ketogenic type diet. And isn't our favorite part of it too that it also mixes up really well in cold water now? Can't tell you how many times I've been through the Sonic drive-through just to get ice water and put it in there and mix it up. It's so good. It's like the best afternoon treat. So as you're thinking about how am I going to market this to people? How am I going to talk to people about it? Remember that 70% of your immune system is in your gut. You want to have an 80 to 20% ratio of good bacteria to bad bacteria. Why do we want the bad bacteria? Because when we die, that's what decomposes our body. So if you kind of put that mental image of like a tree that's dead and has fallen in the forest, what's covering it to basically return it to dirt, fungus? There's usually mushrooms or other things that are growing on it. That's the purpose, is so that it decomposes it. The same thing is, in our gut. So it isn't that we want to entirely eliminate bad bacteria. They have a purpose, but we want to make sure that we always keep that 80%, is our goal. So if you think of that in terms of statistics, they say 60% of people have dysbiosis. I would argue that number is probably larger, but even at 60%, that's 3 out of 5 people. And I read a statistic the other day that if just one course of antibiotics, and y'all, if you followed anybody on Facebook this past year, people were sick all over the place. One round of antibiotics, if you don't go in and replace your beneficial bacteria with a probiotic after a round of antibiotics, just one round could take up to 5 years for those gut bacteria to replenish on their own. Now think about all those mamas that whose kids had multiple ear infections this year, or they had multiple sinus infections, or they had to go back and get a different antibiotic 3 different times. Think about what that has done to the integrity of their immune system and to the population of their beneficial gut bacteria. They absolutely need to be on ProBio 5 and need to be on SLIM, and as quickly as possible. So again, that XOS, just to recap on it, it's like a superfood for your good microbes. Now I want to move on to talking about detox, because I don't know if you guys are experiencing this, if you've had questions come up about it. I think it's really important that we just tackle this issue head on, because the last thing that we want is to tell people, oh my gosh, you're going to feel so amazing on it, without preparing them for the fact that it may be a rough anywhere from 3 to 10 days on the new product. And the reason why is because when you go in and you put this superfood into your gut for the good gut microbes, they start growing like crazy. And when they're growing like crazy, they start to crowd out the bad bacteria, and the bad bacteria die. Also, remember, the bad bacteria are no longer being fed. I mentioned, there was one other change I meant to mention about the reformulation. They took polydextrose out. Polydextrose is widely believed to function as a prebiotic as well, even though it's a synthetic derivative of corn. And so even though our old Slim worked wonderfully, and thankfully we had ProBio 5, whether we realized it or not, every time we were drinking that Slim, that polydextrose was feeding our good bacteria and our bad bacteria. They're not getting fed anymore, and I think they're really angry about it. And so, especially if you've got people that have started off, new people that join, that are jumping in with welcome packs and getting Slim and ProBio 5, we've got to ease these people into a regimen differently than we did in the past, because they're going to get the double whammy of, the bad guys dying off from starvation, but also dying off because of the Saccharomyces boulardii that is in ProBio 5. So you may need to start them off with half a stick. That's okay. I would by no means recommend that you start them off with 2 sticks per day. I think most of the people that are suffering from the really bad die-off are people that jumped in doing that right away, and they've had a hard time. Now, saying that, I do think that very often we jump too quickly to tell people, oh, that's just die-off, oh, that's die-off, or oh, that's detoxing. Really research, look up, understand what typical reactions to die-off are. So it could be, most commonly, it's flu-like symptoms with or without a fever. I actually ran a low-grade fever for 2 days when I first started, and I didn't connect it at all to starting the new Slim. I just thought I was coming down with something. And then I was like, oh, I know what this is. I've experienced this before. Body aches, joint and muscle pain, moody, irritability. It can even make you really tired at first, which is, hard if you've ordered something thinking that it's going to give you all this energy and instead you feel more tired. So if you're hearing things like this back from people, reassure them that this is actually a good thing. It just shows that your body is detoxing on a deeper level. I've had a lot of conversations with Helen McFadden, with Ame Darling, and some of the other people that were in the product user group or the tester group, because I really feel like this is detoxing us on a level that we just weren't getting detoxed on before. You can also have excess mucus production. I felt kind of stuffed up for a couple of days, and brain fog is another common detox reaction. So going back to that premise that XOS only feeds the good bacteria, and remember that those good bacteria are growing and gaining population in the gut. Remember then that the bad guys are being starved out and are being crowded out. And I'm kind of a visual person, so I want you to think of this as like good soldiers that are in your gut. Your good bacteria are your good soldiers. So what you're experiencing if you're having die-off is death of pathogens by good soldiers. Or if you're really feeling crummy, it's death of pathogens by bombing. And the best thing that you can do is make sure that you do not get constipated. You've got to keep your bowels moving because you want to get that bad bacteria flushed out. What's happening when the bad bacteria die is that they release toxins when they die, and those toxins, if your body already is not detoxifying well, overwhelm your body's ability to clear them out. And so having regular daily bowel movements is extremely important. So if you find for a time that you need to up the BioCleanse in order to keep things moving well, do that. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. Water with lemon squeezed in it is a great way to help the body detoxify. And if it's really, really, really bad, on Amazon, you can order a product called Alka-Seltzer Gold. And Alka-Seltzer Gold is used commonly by people in like the Lyme disease community to help their bodies detox from toxins. So I think that's all I have for you guys. Amber, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. And I messaged a couple of friends and asked them to help listen too, so they could send me questions as well. Okay. We just have a few. Okay, so you talked about, and I've been asked this question a couple of times, you talked about how the Slim mixes better and it mixes in cold water better. What changed to make that happen? Do you know?
They took the polydextrose out. Polydextrose was in there as an anti-caking agent, but it didn't work very well. And so that is what helped to make it not be so clumpy.
I am grateful for that. Sometimes I would feel silly mixing my Slim in public. I'll be done here in a minute, you guys.
Yeah, it looks like those shake weight commercials.
Right? It's a little weird. Okay, so you talked about if anyone's like allergic to melon or any other fruits in it. What if you have someone who says they're allergic to stevia? I know you talked it's a minute amount, but
it's a smaller amount. I mean, I think that's where I would have them try it. I mean, stevia is not usually the issues with stevia come from people because stevia is a member of the ragweed family. And so somebody who's highly allergic to ragweed could have issues with the stevia and Slim as well.
Okay.
It's a lower amount. I mean, of course, they can't disclose what the amount is because it's part of the proprietary blend. but it is a less amount. And that's where I would say, why don't you just start off with a half a stick and build up from there to their tolerance.
Okay. Next question, PCOS. This is what they said. 1 in 15 women have this. Can you talk about how the akkermansia, did I say that right? I'm so proud of myself. Increase can help ladies with PCOS because we've heard it's happening. Can you talk about the why behind that?
The whole thing again with PCOS, people are always like, is it food that makes us fat? Is it sugar that makes us fat? Is it da-da-da? Y'all, it's hormones. It is disrupted hormones that cause people to gain weight. And that's one of the really hard things with PCOS because your DHEA goes really high. So your hormones are converting to DHEA. And then you get kind of the androgenic things going on. Oftentimes ridiculously high testosterone. And there's also a weight gain component there. I mean, almost everybody that I know that has PCOS has at one point either been on or told that they need to go on metformin because of the blood sugar component as well. And metformin, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of a precursor to it's basically for people who have blood sugar problems that aren't like full-blown diabetic is kind of the easiest way to explain it. And so they will put women with PCOS on metformin to try to get their blood sugar calmed down, to get their blood sugar back into normal range. As far as the akkermansia, I mean, I think it just goes back to that disrupted metabolism. In a woman with PCOS, something has gone wrong metabolically, something has gone wrong hormonally. So if you are increasing, and especially at such a ridiculous increase, 25,000% increase in akkermansia, then you're going to see that those women are going to, most likely be able to lose weight more easily, and B, Slim continues to do what it had always done to begin with, which was to help with our blood sugars. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, I think so. My friend Claire was who sent that to me. Claire, did you feel like the question was answered, what you were kind of looking for?
Yeah, I do. I tried to do some research on it myself and just saw that some research had been done with the dysbiosis relationship that akkermansia helps with as far as PCOS is concerned. So I just wanted to kind of listen to what you would share with us, Rachel. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all plays in. It's all that all disease stemming from the gut, and if your gut's messed up, your hormones get messed up, and you're just in a vicious cycle from there.
Okay. You talked about, I see a question from Vicky. You talked about how if someone doesn't need to lose weight and they take the Slim, it's not going to make them lose weight. What if someone needs to lose weight, they start the Slim and they gain weight? Is that maybe a detox thing going on?
It totally is. And that's the thing. I mean, we have to remember we're all so highly individual. I mean, I've seen people say they have no appetite. So they're getting, big time appetite suppression from the Slim. And then I have people messaging me telling me that they're starving because of it. I mean, our bodies are all just so individual that I mean, in the exact same way that we have always seen a population of people who gain weight initially or don't lose anything on triplex, and then all of a sudden 60 to 90 days in, boom, it's like overnight they drop the weight. I don't think that we should expect that this is going to happen quickly for everyone, especially, I look at some of the people that I'm seeing post on Facebook saying, I'm down 6 pounds already. I think these are people that probably already had a pretty good level of akkermansia, and maybe it's just more improved now. So I haven't lost any weight on it yet.
Let me ask you this, and this is a little bit more of a business question, but I wrote down, I want to know some of your best business tips. You are a Diamond Ambassador after all. And I would regret not asking you that while you're on here. Do you think posting on Facebook about losing all this weight is helping or hurting people's business. In other words, your customers, your new ambassadors sign up, they get it. What if they don't have the same results you do? Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
There was a thread on this, I think, on the Jules page, and it kind of
Yeah.
got my attention.
And I totally agreed with, I can't remember who posted it, but she's, the people who, the kind of people that got in probably, Amber, I think we joined around the same time. When did you join? Like 3.5?
December of 2013.
Okay, so I was January of 2014. So the people that were kind of 6 months to a year before us, a lot of those people built their business on weight loss. Like that was when we had the old accelerator. It worked like a charm, and they built on weight loss. And then when accelerator had to be reformulated, their businesses went backwards tremendously. We need to look at the direction and the sort of industry forecasting that our company is doing, and recognizing. I read a year ago, I follow a nutrition news thing, and they forecasted over a year ago that the 3 biggest segments of growth in nutritional supplements would be probiotics, aloe vera-based products, and plant-based omegas. And look at the direction that Plexus has gone in. I mean, we have the only aloe-based multivitamin that I am aware of. We've been talking about, you're going to start to see now our competitors, because the FDA and the FTC, I remember when I was at Leadership Excellence, Chris Reed said, the single biggest thing that catches the attention of the FTC is weight loss claims that are unsubstantiated. And so I think a lot of other companies that we see out there that just are heavy, heavy, heavy weight loss promoting, they're going to start to realize that they're going to get on the FTC's radar, which nobody wants to be, but that really isn't the direction that the health and wellness industry is moving in. It's moving into this more holistic, more whole body, more plant-based, less chemicals, less synthetics. And I think I'm so proud of our company and where we're at. And that is the message that I continue to carry with. Now, are before and after pictures of people powerful? Yes. But again, we train heavily on my team about setting people's expectations realistically. Mm-hmm. If you set the expectation that there's a reason the company offers a 60-day money-back guarantee. It's because it is not a quick weight loss. That's not to say that you're not going to have people that have those results right away, and woohoo for them. That's awesome. But we are talking about health and wellness on a whole deeper level. It's easy to go for the weight loss. It is, because everybody wants it, I know people that won't put a single chemical in their body, but would take a chemical what storm to be able to lose weight. It's just, unfortunately, it's just kind of how our focus is. But I think as long as you're sharing a good portion of both, I certainly would not make this all about weight loss. I would, for every 10 posts that you do, I would have 8 of them be about, the health benefits, and 2 of them be about weight loss.
I love that. I think we have to remember Tarl and Alec and the rest of corporate are working on building a legacy company. Legacy is around for a long, long, long time, not a quick fix company, not an overnight. And that's what we have to stress to our new ambassadors and our customers. Mm-hmm. They've been doing a certain thing, eating a certain way, maybe not taking supplements and vitamins for however many years. And now they're starting. It's not going to be this overnight thing. Okay. Yeah. I love what you said, Rachel. I don't have any more questions. I don't think any more's been texted to me. I do have a question. Mm-hmm. I found out something about you that I didn't know, that your husband used to be in a Christian band. Yes. I did not know this.
Yes.
Monk and Neagle. Does anybody else remember this band from way back in the day? Like, I totally remember that. That's her husband. He's the Neagle.
He's the Neagle and Monk and Neagle.
now I'm the one geeking out. But anyway,
Hey,
I think
the last thing that I would tell you guys is, and just because I got to meet him and I got to visit with him, and because I'm a nerd and I get what a big deal this is, but about a year ago, Plexus brought on Dr. Alan Zhang. And if you haven't had a chance to ever read his bio, look it up. He's all over the internet. He's got a LinkedIn profile. And he's so smart. He basically obtained his medical degree from a university in China, that to earn a degree there, like, we don't even have a medical degree in the United States that would be the equivalent to that degree.
Wow.
Then he had to come here and he had to go to medical school again. So he's a very, very smart man. He left McCormick Seasonings and Spices to come to us. And his kind of legacy with that company is that he took them in the direction of taking their entire spice and product line gluten-free, organic, and non-GMO. So I just think that's exactly what he's going to bring to our company as well. I know that he has an eye on every single product in our company and is going to be working to make tweaks to them that are going to make them even better, just like what we're seeing with Slim.
that's awesome. I mean, I've seen his face and heard his name, but I did not know for sure all of that. What is how do you spell his last name? You say Alan?
Jiang.
Jiang.
But he pronounces it Zhang.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close out this call. I'm going to close this in a quick word of prayer, and then we'll stick around for a little after party for those of y'all that went to. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for this time together. Lord, I thank you for Rachael. I thank you for just her kind heart, Lord, for being willing to do this call for us and share these things with us so that we can learn more and more and more about these products that we love so much. God, we thank you for Plexus. We thank you for the amazing gift that it has been to each and every one of us. Lord, I just pray for Rachael, for her business, for her family. Lord, just continue to bless her and just pour your richest blessings down upon her, Lord. God, we thank you and praise you for all that you are. In your name, amen. All right, guys, I'm going to end the recording. And like I said, we'll stick around for an after party. Not like we're not all about to see each other, but thank you, Rachael.